Welcome to Unfiltered Summit Sisters.
I'm Gina.
And I'm Julia.
We are two ride-or-die best friends who are paving the path for what true, authentic relationships look like.
We're facing hardships head-on, having real, uncensored conversations, supporting each other's growth, and shining a light on true, raw healing.
We are navigating the world the best we know how,
Having a hell of a time doing it.
laughing every step of the way,
Through the rain
and sunshine.
This is Canyon Culture.
If you're not watching our podcasts, why are we sitting in this mini blizzard? Because we are sacrificing so much for the view.
It's cold today.
It's cold today.
That wind.
I think when we established that we were going to do our podcast outside, I don't think we thought of winter. I think
It wasn't winter.
You didn't know about winter yet?
And I didn't know what real winter was.
And I forgot, apparently.
I just got here.
So if you're just listening, slide on over to our YouTube channel because Burr and gorgeous. So make it worth it.
There's snow in my ear.
Right? It's blowing in our ear.
It's cool.
Oh my gosh. Okay. But today I really needed to talk about parenting stuff because I feel like we're both going through a lot of parenting hardships, trials, struggles, victories, wins right now. And anyway, just the last couple days, it's been really heavy on my heart that this needs to be something we discuss and talk about.
Absolutely.
So quick little background, I've got my 4 boys. Most of the time their dad lives in Texas and has them on select holidays throughout the year. So I'm doing this a lot by myself. It's so cold, y'all. The wind. Anyway, so I am a lot of the decisions and a lot of the parenting, all of the parenting is me.
Right.
So they visit their dad a couple weeks out of the year. Mm-hmm. So that's my baseline. And I was kind of like, why don't you share your baseline? We can just kind of start a conversation and see where we go.
Yeah. So I have my 6 kiddos, and their dad is not in the picture at all. He is completely gone, hasn't seen, spoken, literally nothing at all since November of 2021.
Yeah.
Nothing, not even a penny of child support.
Not
So
a birthday
just
card.
Not a birthday card, not literally nothing.
So we're both dealing with a lot of these things on our own. Now we have each other, but we also, I love your children like as close as I can as if they're my own.
Yeah.
But the weight of being a parent isn't there because they're not mine.
Right.
And that's really hard to watch our kids go through stuff.
Yeah.
And not have the ability to provide what they're missing out because you can't be my kid's dad.
Yeah.
As much as you want, as much as you want to be, and I can't be your kid's dad.
But
there are holes.
But I am their fammy.
We are their fammies. You have to figure.
Yeah, if you've ever seen the movie Alexander and the No Good, Very Bad, Horrible Something Day, it's a reference from that movie.
Yeah. I'm gonna put my microphone over here just in case the wind is getting nasty on it. So we're fammies.
That's what she said.
Dun-dun-dun. So yeah, I think that we try and play as much of a second parent as we can, but we can't.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'll just start with what's going on with my kids right now. That's hard.
What are some things in general that is just kind of ongoing that they deal with, and then what are you currently facing right now or dealing with right now?
Well, I feel like we're still doing a lot of new stuff because their dad's been gone for only a year, and I know that sounds like a long time, but when you go from seeing your dad every other weekend to every summer,
yeah,
that's a big change, and 1 year is not going to give you enough of that. So we're still like functioning with that. Mm-hmm. Now, I think the lack of having them have to move so much has brought on a lot of more blessings.
Right.
But the lack of breaks that I get from my kids, physically, because you don't get rest when they're gone for 6 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
And so, and as you know, like there's not really a lot of breaks. You leave for 5 minutes and there's 1,000 phone calls, or, you know, the house might be on fire when you get back, right? Like you just don't quite know what you're leaving. So I do get away. I am able to leave them. Russell does his best, but what I sacrifice by leaving is what I come home to and what I have to fix when I get home, whether it's physical or emotional, right?
Right. Like a broken TV or a shattered glass door.
I don't know.
I'm just making these things up.
I don't know what you're referencing.
Just making them up, hypothetically.
Should we post those on social media so we have references to them? Come listen to the podcast. I'll wonder why these pictures are here. So I would say in general, we're just still trying to get used to what this life even looks like. And I think in general, it is better just because of the lack of moving. Like they have one home base, and they're not, like they were missing out on youth activities and church activities and birthday parties because we didn't know, like they were, you know, people aren't planning their parties around our schedule. That's a pretty, I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're dealing with currently, though, is that my kids are now growing up without a father figure in the home more than they were before.
Yeah.
And that is showcasing in a lot of areas that I didn't anticipate being as heavy as it is. So my youngest is struggling the most because he has been without a father figure in the home since he was 2.
Right.
And so I feel like he was old enough to know what it was like to have a dad, and so he's getting this idea of like, but he also is young enough that he doesn't know any different. If that makes sense. It's like a weird middle ground. But yeah, so he's just showcasing like with impulse control issues and boundary keeping, but then he is an emotional wreck and he shuts down, and that's not like him. He's usually quite verbal's not the word. His expression of his hardships are very outward with his body, with his just anger and frustration. But now we have a new thing where he's shutting down and he won't talk.
Right. He's usually full of life, whether good or bad.
Yeah.
He's full of
big
life.
feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the last few months, but more importantly, the last few weeks, the light has just gone from his eyes, and several people in our little community have noticed, and it's really hard and it's difficult because I'm not a dad. I can't feel that. You're not a dad. You can't feel that as much as he loves both of us.
Right.
And we show up for him every day. We're not male. We don't have that masculine energy. We don't have that place.
Right.
And as mothers and women, we're not supposed to. And that's so hard to hear from the doctor that we see for him, that you can't. That's heartbreaking for me. Like, it literally makes me cry that I have this child who has so many needs and I can't give him anything to fulfill that need.
Yeah.
It's really heartbreaking because as a single mom, you and I chose to leave.
Right.
And so the guilt is hard because even though I know it's better for all of us, I was like, hey, I'm going to give you a better life. And right now, it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't look like it with him not having that sparkle, not having the light in his eyes. It's really hard.
Yeah.
So we've got emails from school saying that he's shutting down at school. He hasn't been playing with friends very much lately. He plays the victim a lot. He pokes at people and then plays the victim. So I'm here with zero advice. I'm here with going, I don't know what to do. Now, the doctor that we see for him is saying he needs to have men in his life. And so I have been reaching out to neighbors and grandparents to come and take him and love on him and wrestle with him. And that, I think, has helped the last couple of days.
Good.
The light has come back into his eyes. He's playing with kids a little bit more, and I'm trying to push him to play with kids more. But we're still struggling in it. And the thing is it's just heartbreaking. It's just to watch that little boy without his light, who was so full of light before. So there's prayer, but this isn't a quick fix.
Right.
And it's really hard. And reading the emails from teachers and having hard days, there's just so many tears. There's so many prayers with tears. But I can't thank the neighbors enough and my dad enough for showing up when he needs it. But again, as a single mom, to have to rely on other people consistently is
Right.
wicked hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because asking, hey, can you help me come move my fridge? That's a one-time thing. Hey, 3 times a week, can you come play with my son?
Mm-hmm.
But was it last Saturday after pancakes? He was so clingy and so touchy, and like I can't do this anymore. And you're like, I don't blame you. And I was like, you need to go find a man to play with. And he was like on it. And he went to like 6 different houses trying to find a man to play with, not a kid. Like it's almost like his little body knows,
Right.
I want to be around. I need a daddy, you know?
Yeah, there's something about that masculine energy.
Absolutely. So that's kind of, I mean, that's just one of my kids. Like that's the hardest part, is that is one of my 4 and you've got 6.
Yeah.
And sometimes their issues match up, but the solutions aren't going to be the same. Sometimes their issues are completely different.
Right.
And so it's like that is so overwhelming to have so many little people in need, and you are it.
And at the same time, we're still healing.
Oh my gosh.
We're still being triggered. We're still healing. We're still going through. We're feeling a lot of the same things that they are.
True.
And that being a mom while you're healing is one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Yeah, I could see that. I feel that.
Yeah.
So what have you been dealing with your kids?
With my youngest being 5 and my oldest being 15, I feel like I'm in a whole lot of seasons of parenting at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got one kid right now that is just angry. He's really angry. And so he purposely pushes everybody else's buttons. He's an instigator.
Ooh, that's hard.
And that's extremely hard because I am already running on empty most of the time.
I think that's the hardest part about being a mom and trying to help and heal. So what we have available to pour out is so much, and then that's with nobody having any extra issues.
Right. So then he's angry, he's instigating, he's pushing everybody else's buttons, and he's not doing it just to be a jerk. He's got feelings. He's got stuff that he's dealing with. He is pissed off that he doesn't have a dad, and rightfully so. So all of my kids really struggle with abandonment. He will especially push my buttons and do certain things. So like this week, he got in trouble for some things, and he was angry at me. So he ripped up a Valentine's Day card that I had wrote him.
Yeah.
And then the very next day, he was in trouble for something again. The dude purposely peed all over the toilet seat right before I went in there. He knew that I was going in there because we were about to leave, so that I would sit in his urine.
Yuck.
And just like so hard. And so we haven't addressed it yet.
Yeah.
We haven't addressed those things because I haven't been in a place to. Because I know that if I address them right now, it's going to come from a place of anger, and it's going to hurt our relationship more than anything else.
I think that's an amazing thing that you have the ability to do, is slow down.
Yeah.
And have the perspective of, it's not time to talk about it. We're not ignoring it.
Right.
But for success for you and for me, I'm talking like you and your child, we are going to address this at another time. And I love that because I am anxious, and so I want to fix right now. We need to fix it now. I don't like this feeling. But what happens is, what you're teaching me is that by slowing down and sitting with whatever's bothering, some of the feelings that don't matter, that are just maybe a response or a trigger, settle.
Yeah.
And you're left with a more concentrated, here's our issues.
Right.
And that's something you have taught me just in the last few weeks that I've appreciated. It's really hard for me to do because I want to fix right now.
Yeah.
Instead of just sit in peace and quiet or whatever, or for a season, and then address. And I think that because you do that, you're able to hear the Spirit, and so God's able to speak to you more.
Yeah.
And you're able to come at it from a space. So I love that lesson that you've taught. I don't know if you've been aware that that's been a lesson that you've taught me, but it is. And I need to implement it with my kids because I think they would benefit from that approach.
I love that.
Thank
I
you.
love that. And then, and so then I've got teenagers.
Yeah. They got emotions too.
A lot of emotions. So we're, another day very recently, where one of the teenagers is just being mean to everybody, which is not like her. And so we take a break, and then we finally start talking about it, kind of getting down to the root of it. And, I teach her how to step back and see what the root problem is. Because she she's just kind of, number one, she's high on emotions. So, we're talking about it and her responses are very animated and so to me, I'm like, okay, we've still got a lot of emotions and feelings coming out that need to come out before we can get to the root problem. I asked her, what are you angry about? We sat in my room, and there were so many different things that were really, really hard to hear. I'm angry that I don't have a dad. Yeah. I'm angry that he's not here, but I don't want him here at the same time, and that's confusing.
That is an emotion that I was so grateful. I don't know. Somebody brought that to my attention a while ago, is that as much as I dislike their dad and as much as they dislike their dad treating them the way that he does, they still love him.
Yeah. And that's what I told her. I was like, I understand that you're angry that he's not here, but you also don't want him here.
Yeah.
And I said, I get that.
Those conflicting emotions are
still
crazy.
Your dad.
Those are crazy two things to deal with.
They're crazy for us to feel, and we are grown adults.
Yeah.
So in a teenager body, yeah.
But then also, for me, to think about for my kids, they love their dad, but then they don't love big parts of that relationship. And they ask me questions, and so I'm going, I don't love your dad.
Yeah.
And so they get to see how much I want to detach and space from him. And how confusing is that? That's the part where I hate that choices that I made brought us here. If that makes sense. That marrying who I married, choosing to have kids, and choosing to stay has brought us here. Because that guilt is a hard one for me to let go. Because you shouldn't have to feel like my words are not matching my emotions right now, but it's so frustrating that they have to deal with loving their dad and having to figure out how to have a relationship with him.
Right.
That's
incredibly hard.
No kid should have to do that. No kid should feel completely abandoned by their dad, but then miss him too.
Right.
That's awful.
Yeah.
And it's just, I can't.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just have so much frustration with that, and it's just not how God intended families to be. But I also I just know that us leaving was the only answer.
Yeah. It was. We had no other option.
And it just sucks.
It does. So she went on, more. She was like, I'm mad that other people have a dad.
Yeah.
I'm mad that you have to work so much. I'm mad that we don't get to just be kids and we have to help you. And she just went on and on. I'm mad that we don't have money to do things like other people. And it's all valid.
Yeah.
It is all so very valid. She said, I'm mad that it feels like God's helping everybody, but not us.
Which is heartbreaking.
And that one was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking to hear as a mom.
Because even though that's not true.
Yeah.
For her to feel that.
So there's a trying to find that fine line of your feelings are valid and this is a safe place. You get to say whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
I can handle it. God can handle it. You get to have those feelings. And you need to let them out.
Yeah.
At the same time, we need to remember that our emotions and feelings are great communicators, but they are not factual truth.
Yep.
And so we process them and we let them out, but then we need to follow them up with truth and light.
Yeah. So the doctor that my kids see, he says, when we're talking about a specific emotion, he'll say it's not good nor bad, not right nor wrong. Yeah. It's information of needs being unmet.
I love that.
I love that too, because sometimes when we feel angry, I feel guilty. I'm like, we feel certain emotions and we're like, why do I have to feel this? It's like, no, this is just information. This is just needs not being met.
And I think it's shining a light on dark places that are asking to be healed, that are ready to come to the surface, that are ready to be addressed and healed.
And I love that she was able to dig with you to figure those out and to voice those, because like you said, so many adults don't even know how to do that, and you were able to walk her through and coach her through. Let's dig deeper, because when you and I were first talking about this interaction with her, you asked the right questions. You gave her the right promptings to have her figure it out for herself.
Mm-hmm.
And she leaned into that, which is incredible.
I want to go through a little bit of what that process looked like.
Please do.
She was kind of, just pushing people's buttons, not being kind to her siblings. And so, pulled her into the room, and she's very animated, having a lot of feelings. And so, we took some time to calm down. Why are you feeling like this? And she, I'm so tired. And I said, okay, I get that. Why do you think you're so tired? And well, I haven't been sleeping very well. And I'm like, okay, let's keep going. Let's keep digging, right?
Yeah.
Why haven't you been sleeping very well? And I'm feeling angry and I'm feeling sad a lot of the time right now. And I was like, okay, this is good. Why, let's keep going. Why are you feeling angry and sad? Which is when she shared all of those things, And so addressing all of those things, validating her feelings and her concerns, letting her cry it out, letting her get everything out. I shared some things that I'm upset with, that I'm dealing with right now. And I said, I'm mad about this and I'm mad about that. And we cried. We cried together and we talked together. And in the end, we did bring it back to God is still good and he is still faithful. Mm-hmm. So where can we see him right now? Yeah. Where have we seen him in the last couple months? Because it may feel like he's helping everyone but us. Yeah. But just the story of how we even got here. Yeah. 6 months ago. Yeah. Miracle after miracle after miracle. And so he's there. And there are definitely seasons where it's hard to see him and it's hard to feel him. And I told her, and I was like, and I get that, I've been there. So for right now, if you can't see it or you can't feel it, borrow some of my faith, because I have enough for all of us right now.
Yeah. I think that's lovely. I mean, that's sharing the testimony of all of that and reminding her of what you do have. And that's where gratitude comes into place. That's where affirmations come into place, and just saying, yes, you're feeling alone, but let's do more of that digging. Yeah. If you're alone, where can you go to not feel alone? Do you have options? Right. I love, so if you don't mind sharing the action or because it's not a consequence, but you had this is what we're going to do. What was the solution that you had, and how has that been this week?
So this particular teenager she's been feeling really sad and angry a lot. And she is one where she likes to isolate. Weird. I don't know where she got that from.
That's not your personality at all.
And so I told her, for now, I want her coming with us more often to more of the things we're going to. So right now, because she is a teenager, there are some family events that I really want her to be at, and then there are others where I let her stay home because she wants to. She's more of an introvert. Right. It's just a different season of parenting. So you're slowly giving them more freedom over time, right? But right now she's struggling, and she's struggling with some dark things, and she needs to be in light. She needs to be surrounded by light. She needs to be encouraged. And so I just told her, I said, for right now, I want you coming with us to these different things, because you just need to be surrounded by love and by light. So it's not a consequence in any way. You're in a dark place right now, and I've been there, and this is what you need.
Yeah. When we talked, I love that she had shared that she just has bad days more often than not. And you asked her, you're like, well, I thought it would be better moving here. And she said, well, I'm having more good days than I was before. Right. And that connected with, to me, your choice of saying, okay, then let's go be in the light so you can have more good days than bad. I loved that. That was such I just love how good you are to partner with God to hear that prompting, because I think that was the perfect thing
for her. I think I think that's really important. I'm not sitting here saying this is the solution for any teenager or every teenager. For this specific child, this is what she needs right now.
There is no No, every kid is going to be so different. There's general family rules.
Literally what works for one child is not going to work for the other five.
Complete opposite for the other ones. Yeah. No, so we have, I think we've talked about this before. We have an amazing neighborhood where every Sunday we have a little social gathering. Yeah. In the wintertime, it's burn barrel and hot cocoa. And in the summer, it's homemade ice cream. Yep. And she typically doesn't come to the burn barrel. Yeah. Typically. She's never come to the burn barrel. But because of this idea of you saying you're going to need to come to a lot more things to feel light, she comes. And I have loved having her there. Yeah. We started bringing a speaker and listening to music, and her and I will sing and dance and embarrass the crap out of ourselves.
And I love that. And I think that's just
it's healing for me.
Thank you, Jesus, that you were able to speak to me to give me exactly what that child needed, because
Yes.
she doesn't come to Burn Barrel and sit in a corner and pouty.
No.
And no, she lights up. The light in her comes up, and
It's so good.
yeah, it's so good. So I'm thankful that even though I am a single parent, I have to remember oftentimes it feels like everything is on me all the time. The weight of the world for all 6 of them is on me all the time.
Yeah.
But God's there. He's still got us. This is not the end of our story. He's still
Yeah.
speaking, and he's still helping me parent. And this is a perfect example
Yeah.
of that, of just sitting at Burn Barrel and seeing her light,
Yeah.
seeing her dance and sing and just have so much joy.
Well, I feel like that, I feel like the light in her has been, the last week when I've seen her, it's been more and more. So there was a day where I was leaving your house and kids were like, can we come to your house? I was like, yeah, load up in the car. And I took a bunch of kids, and she comes out. She's like, wait for me. That is not what she does.
Yeah.
And I was like, absolutely. And she came and she helped me do some work. Like, I sit on my bed and I work, and she's there, and she's like, let me help you. And she's never had attitude or been like, I've never had an issue with her attitude before, but that light is consistent.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But I loved at Burn Barrel the way that these amazing adults that we have in our community welcome her. And they're like, I just remember one of the men just came up and he's like, 2 in a row. He's like, I'm so excited you're here.
I'm so thankful for our neighborhood and everybody that they are amazing, genuine, authentic, kind people.
Yeah.
And they make it a point to look our children in the eyes and make them feel welcome and loved.
These are the same group of people where I send my youngest to when he needs to be with men. I'm like, go to their house.
Yeah.
Go see if they're available to play. And my favorite is he knocks on the door and says, can you hang out? The 6-year-old says, can you hang out?
To
And
the
then
50-year-old.
To the 50-year-old. And I love walking
Can you come out and play?
It's so cute. And I love that they welcome it. I don't know. But there's other things that's just, but that, what you said, like in the scriptures, it says God is a father to the fatherless and husband to the husbandless. In my time with God just the other day, I was like, I need you because this is your child too. And I don't know what to do with him. And what I'm feeling inspired to do right now with my youngest is to just spend more time with him, because when he's at school, he shuts down. And when they get him to say anything, he says, I just want to be with my mom.
Yeah.
And so I'm noticing that I am running all day, every day. And I get to the end of the day and he's like, can we snuggle? And I'm like, no, it's bedtime and I'm done. And I'm just so into what I need because I've been going all day.
Yeah.
I forget that even though I've provided them with a great life and a lovely home, and we have a community with lots of people, that them needing that specific connection with me is they still need me to show up.
Absolutely.
Personally. So that's my effort right now. That's, I guess, my answer. But that's what I just love that. I guess the answer that we both are coming up with is leaning on God and saying, what are we doing?
Yeah.
How are we solving this problem? You are my partner right now. And if we get married and we have somebody come in, it'll be the 3 of us.
Right.
But what are we doing about this problem that we have for our child? And that's been a huge blessing for me. This is interesting because I didn't super notice it until now, but for our religion, we have temples all over and we can go and do service in our temples. And I haven't been in years. And I went on Tuesday. And I'm recognizing how much lighter my shoulders feel since I went. And I went in with so much heaviness with I didn't even know what to go in with, because a lot of times you go in with, I need answers with this. And I was like, I can't pick one. They're all hard.
Yeah.
I have too many things. Every aspect of my life right now is so heavy. I can't pick one. And I just went in. I was like, I just need to go. My intention is just to go and to serve. And I walked out and I just feel like I can stand a little higher and taller because it's not so heavy. And that's been this week, just since Tuesday. And to be able to say, okay, God, what are we doing about this baby? And him telling me you just need time to love him. I love these conversations because it's where I realize the answers in the prayers I've asked.
Yeah. And I love that he meets us
Where we're at.
Yeah. Every time.
He doesn't make us crawl to him.
No.
Where we can't make it.
No.
But yeah, we're in a marathon. It's not a sprint. But I love that we can look and find the little victories along the way.
For sure.
And I'm just grateful for your example, and I'm grateful for this friendship, because even though our religious views. We're both Christian, but they've got differences. But what we do is we always bring each other back to Christ. We always bring each other back to God. And watching your faith and watching the way that you partner with God helps me to do the same, reminds me to do the same, encourages
For sure.
me.
And seeing his faithfulness in your life.
Yeah.
Or seeing, you know, having you come and say, I really, you know, I prayed about this and this is how God came through for me. Or, you know, saying the other night when you went over to the neighbor's house for dinner and you saw part of Thomas's light come back into his eyes, like seeing his faithfulness in your life strengthens my faith.
Same. Having that lesson that you taught me about slowing down, and then, but watching the day that you had the conversation with the girls about what they're dealing with, and your choice to say, okay, come be in the light. And then that night was Burn Barrel.
Yeah.
And to watch her show up and shine, and watching the people in our neighborhood go, we're so happy you're here. And just watching her not be a grumpy teenager about it.
Yeah.
It was like the answer. I mean, it didn't fix it, but
Right.
she had her light in her.
Right.
Anyway, so it's like, it's not a quick fix, but we are seeing the progress quickly if we're looking. And that's the thing, because we are not playing the victim. We are taking charge of our lives right now. I think we're both in that space where we are done. Not that we were playing victim before, but we are done just waiting for something. I feel like that's me. I was waiting for something to change.
Yeah.
And I feel like the last, like this podcast has been a big thing for us. We're like, nope, we're changing.
Yeah.
We're going to be the change that we want to see in our own lives.
Absolutely.
And to be able to have that affect our children in a positive way. Anyway.
And I think at the end of the day, our kids have to walk through a lot of hard. And that sucks as moms.
Yeah.
To watch them go through, to not be able to fix it. But I pray that we are helping guide them and teach them and come alongside them on how to process these things in a healthy way, so that they know how to process, how to step back to get down to the root of the problem, and how to heal their hearts, because most adults do not know how to do that these days.
Right.
I wasn't taught that.
Nope. So to have them learn that at a young age, well, I think, I don't know, I especially, because it's easier to look at other people's kids than your own, right? And so to look at your kids, I'm so impressed with them. I'm so impressed with their ability to handle the things that they have to handle. So yes, they have to do hard things, but the things they're learning are incredible. And I think that's a testament to them. And I think that's a testament to us, because we don't just heal ourselves and then call it good. We are implementing what we're healing with our kids. And I think that we take the opportunity for our kids when they're hurting to find ways to help them heal.
Yes.
So the healing is just happening in all directions. We take our things, our lessons that we learn, and help apply it to them. We take what they're dealing with and help that apply to them and to ourselves. There's just, we're always learning. And that, I think, is one of the biggest blessings that I feel like God has given me, is this fire in me to never settle, to never just sit and be like, this is too much.
Right.
It's like, hey, what are we healing? I need a break, but if that's not in the cards for me, what are we healing?
Absolutely. Teaching them to stand in that power. Yes, you have hard things that you have to walk through, and but you are not a victim and you are not powerless.
Yeah.
Feel what you need to feel, but then stand up, take your power back.
Yeah.
And let's go.
I love that. I think that's a great place to end, because I think that's a great thing to learn. Get back up and let's go.
Absolutely.
Life's going to knock you down. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's end with some gratitude, because I think this is a really good space.
Okay. Oh, wait, can I go? Sorry.
Yeah. No, that is not how this works.
My gratitude is that spring is coming. We're sitting here and this hand is a little frozen. It's okay. And all I can think about is warm, sunny days in the hammocks, in your front yard, reading books. And I'm just so grateful that's coming. I looked at the weather, and next week there's a day where the high is 47.
What? I know. Bathing suit weather.
Yeah.
We will be laying out that day.
I'm grateful seasons are changing.
Yeah. I think that's awesome, because you didn't really have seasons before. So as much as we're excited, oh my gosh, let's get to warm weather, it's like, I love being in a space where it's like, I get to miss summer.
Yes.
Because I appreciate it a little bit more.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. The cold is not that was one of my biggest concerns about moving, right? It really hasn't been that bad.
No.
I am definitely enjoying having different seasons.
Yeah. Anyway, we're ending. We don't need to keep going. My gratitude is just for all of the way that God teaches me where I'm at. That we are playing out exactly what we wanted this podcast to be right now.
Yeah.
And that makes me so happy because it's what we're playing out. Like, I'm giddy about it.
Yes.
These conversations, I talk through a lot of my processing. So these conversations always brought these realizations for me. And that's what we wanted to bring to our podcast. And we just did it. And so I got this realization of a lesson that you've taught me, that God showed up for me this week by lightening my load that was on my shoulders after going to the temple, because I didn't realize that until now. So many realizations happened during this conversation, and we did it on our podcast. Dreams are coming true. And I'm so grateful that by you and I having the faith and walking in the way he wants us to, like, he's like, thank you for following. There you go. Ding.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like, because we started posting stuff on like Wednesday. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. This is happening. People are actually going to see this now.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, I need you to remind me that we're doing this for a reason. And I think that's why he said, talk about parenting and you will remember your reason. This is our why. Today is our why.
Absolutely. I love that.